Welcome to How to Survive the Kitchen. I'm your host, and today we'll be taking you on another magical kitchen journey to teach you how to survive the kitchen. In every kitchen, there are several things every person not wanting an expensive hospital visit should have, such as a fire extinguisher, especially a Class ABC fire extinguisher, updated equipment. What that actually means depends on what you are doing in your kitchen. You just want to make sure that your pots and pans aren't rusty and that your equipment isn't faulty, malfunctioning, or has any exposed wiring. As well as pot holders or oven mitts, like this one, a basic knife sharpener, like this one, and a basic first aid kit, like this one. Obviously, these aren't for cooking, but they're crucial for keeping yourself safe and maintaining your equipment, keeping it safe too. Wow, what an exciting foreign concept to you all, I'm sure. Now, let's talk about how to use all of these, starting with the basic knife. Now, before you start cutting, you should know how to prep a knife and how to move it. Some basics: always keep your knife sharp. The sharper the knife is, the safer. Counterintuitively, I know. With a sharp knife, it'll glide smooth as butter, so you'll use less force and have more control over the knife goes, preventing it from going into your fragile bones. Those things break, you know. You can use a basic knife sharpener like this one here, or you can get it done professionally. To sharpen a knife with a knife sharpener like this, you want to start with the roughest grit and move gradually to the smoothest. Typically, it'll be labeled 1 to 3, with 1 being the one you want to start with and 3 being the last one. You want to move it like this, with a couple through in each one. Or, once again, if you're bad at this, you can always get it done professionally or find your dad or something. They probably know how to sharpen a knife. Now time to actually start cutting this disgusting pickle I've been just letting rot to the side. Now, before you start cutting, you should know how to hold a knife. And the way that you do that is you pinch the blade like this. Or, if you're uncomfortable with pinching the blade like that, or if it's just uncomfortable for your hand personally, you can pinch the handle like this. You want to keep it between your index and your thumb finger. That way you can have much more control over it, so once again, it doesn't go into your weak, fragile bones. You should drink more calcium. Now that you know how to hold a knife, you want to actually start cutting. With the hand that isn't holding the knife, you want to create a little claw. You want to keep the tips of your fingers inwards. That way they won't be caught by the knife and won't get, chopped off with the rest of the vegetables. As you cut, you'll want to move forward so that everything will cut nice and smoothly. Like that. Now, for the final thing that you should know whenever using a knife is that you should never just let them rest in a sink, especially if it's being filled with water to soak. Because then, you might reach in trying to reuse that cup for the 6th time and accidentally grab the blade of the knife and, uh-oh, the water is now fun colors. So be careful and just rinse it off once you're done using and let it out to dry. Or just keep it out until you use the dishwasher. Next, we have our future electronic overlords. An important thing to keep an eye on is the state of these things. Make sure that they're in good condition and that you clean them regularly. Grease buildup can damage the components and hasten their return to the dark side, also known as spontaneous combustion. Just use some basic kitchen soap. Any brand will work. And remember, they aren't sentient, but they will be soon, and they're just like us. They need to be cleaned off after they do hard work. So after you use them, take a second to wipe them off. You should also make sure that none of the wires or other inside stuff are, outside. This can lead to bad things happening, and could result in the machine getting damaged and requiring replacement. One last tip: don't knock anything off the counter. Make sure that these are away from the edge and that no cords are hanging off, like these ones are. Finally, we have the most dangerous and most fun part of the kitchen: fire. Not only for us aspiring arsonists, heat is important for preventing all of us from dying of salmonella, or eating only Doritos and cold Hot Pockets. One of the most depressing fates I can imagine. To make sure that your family isn't left with only sauteed human for dinner, you should also show some caution, but not fear. Fire can smell fear. First rule is never leave a heat source on when you're not around to use it, and especially when you're out of the room and not watching it. Most kitchen fires start when the cook has left the room and has gone to another place, resulting in the fire often being caught too late to be stopped and requiring 911 to be called, and, your house turning into kindling. Next, make sure that the heat source is clear debris. No paper, fabric, or other flammables to, get flamed. If you're cooking on an open fire, make sure that the only thing touching that is metal, ceramic, or things that are heat safe. Especially make sure that it's not glass, because that can heat up too rapidly and explode, going right into your delicate parts, like your heart. You also want to make sure not to touch it, obviously. Something else you should keep in mind is to make sure that the heat isn't too high for what you actually need. This can very quickly just burn your food or your face, which would certainly be a casualty. We'd all miss your pretty face. You should also avoid loose clothing or having your hair down when cooking on a gas stove, as these can brush up against the flame and catch on fire very, very quickly, with nowhere to go but your delicate skin. Finally, make sure to use a proper pot holder, like this one. Kitchen towels or your clothes can catch on fire really quickly, or they won't disperse the heat as well, and you'll burn yourself and potentially drop the thing you're holding or spill it, causing even more burns and more mess. Also, it's obvious, don't use your bare hand to pick up things from the oven. That's stupid. Don't do it. Just don't. Use a pot holder. Even if you think it won't be that hot or you're only going to be holding it for a few seconds, trust me, it's hotter than you think it is. Just don't. And that's all I have for you today. Remember, if you don't know what you're doing, find someone who does. If you want to not stay ignorant and uninformed for the rest of eternity, watch these other videos. Or not. Either way, please be safe. The kitchen doesn't deserve your fear, but it does deserve your respect. Show everything in the kitchen respect and the caution it deserves, and you'll be living a long, happy life, hopefully not filled with medical bills. That's all I have for you today. Bye!